Thank you for that introduction. Today I represent Insplorion as CFO, and it's a pleasure to be here. I will talk to you about what we do to accelerate the transition to a sustainable future. I will go through the hydrogen outlook. I will talk a little bit about our solution, our products in the field, and also I will summarize with giving some reasons as to why invest in Insplorion. But first, let's start with some basics. We are a Gothenburg-based company with 16 FTEs. Since the beginning of last year, we're listed at Nasdaq First North. Prior to that, we were listed at Spotlight since 2015. We were founded as a spin-off from Chalmers back in 2010, and some of the founders is actually still active in the company, Elin Langhammar. And the core technology for us is what we called nanoplasmonic sensing technology, NPS, and that is the core for our products. And simplified, one could say that that enables us to measure at the nano scale. Based on this technology, we have two active fields of business. And the first one is research instruments. Here's where we started. And here mainly the customers are universities and institutions. We have now most of our focus on the two most recent instruments, the M8 for battery research and the S2 for life science. And we have several products out there generating publications, creating knowledge and validate our technology. So the research instrument field is important for us. The other field is where we have the most of our focus at the moment. It's the development of the H2 sensors. Here we don't have a finished product, but we aim to develop the products with our customers to be able to launch that. I will talk more about this later on, but they are fast, specific, and has optical readout. And here is below on the slide, there are some of our collaboration partners, Chalmers, obviously, and Safran. Okay, I will just briefly talk about the instrument. That is not our main focus, but like I said, it's a nice core where we started and a nice base in what we do. We have over 100 articles have been published, and that is a nice validation for the technology. And it also helps us when we discuss with customers. We also use these instruments in our in-house development of the H2 sensor, which is where we see the most potential for the company. And historically, it has mainly been universities, but now we see an increasing interest also coming in from the industry. Okay, so coming back to hydrogen, and we published earlier this year a revision to our strategy to focus primarily on hydrogen. And why is that? We are all aware that to meet future climate goals, there's a lot of things that need to be changed and done. And hydrogen is seen to have a vital role in this transition. And hydrogen has been used in the industry for a very long time, mainly as feedstock. But that has been hydrogen coming from natural gas and black or brown coal, often referred to as gray hydrogen or black. What we are talking about is green hydrogen. And green hydrogen has the ability to produce an energy carrier as hydrogen in a fossil-free way. So this is basically the solution to all our problems in the future. And one option to produce green hydrogen is via a process called electrolysis. So in an electrolyzer, you take a lot of electricity from green sources, such as wind, solar, or hydroelectrics. You split water into hydrogen and oxygen. And there are a lot of numbers to discuss in how many millions, billions will be invested, but around $500 billion will be invested in the green hydrogen value chain by 2030. And there are a lot of projects running to be able to increase the capacity of the production up to 80 gigawatts by 2030. And in order to meet the net emission goals by 2050, that number, the 40 times the capacity of the current capacity, needs to be further increased by a tenfold. So it's a lot of numbers, a lot of billions will be invested. The really interesting stuff for us with all these numbers is that anywhere hydrogen is produced, stored, or used, sensors are needed. Mainly one can say that there are two bottlenecks when it comes to sensors, which creates the demand for us: safety and efficiency. And hydrogen is an explosive gas and very volatile and can penetrate through most materials. In case of a leakage or an incident, not only physical damage on human beings or property could occur, but also setbacks in the public perception of hydrogen as an energy carrier and the future solution. From an efficiency perspective, stopping operations or downtime could have negative impact on profitability. And profitability will be really important given all the investments done in the value chain of hydrogen. Okay, so how does our sensor work? Basically, we could say that we have a nanoscopic structure of nanodiscs on a transparent surface. And these discs consist of a palladium alloy. And the palladium will interact with the H2 molecules. And when we shine light through the sensing element, we're able to detect and quantify the changes via our optical sensor technology. One of our USPs is that we're able to create variations with these coatings and alloys. And then we're able to adapt to different sensor needs, which means we are able to fit throughout the value chain of hydrogen. This brings us to the benefits of our sensor. It's highly specific to H2 in presence of other gases, which might seem obvious, but it's not always that easy. It has a short response time, which makes it really fast. And if it's fast, you can have a quicker action, which will be important both on safety and efficiency. It has the ability with optical readout, which means we're able to separate the sensor from the electronics. Again, important both on safety and efficiency. And we can place the sensor in narrow spaces via the optical fibers. And flexible nanoscopic structure, I mentioned that earlier. By creating variations in coatings and alloys, we are able to adapt to different customer needs, because customers have a lot of different needs, and the need in one part of the value chain will not look the same as it does in another. Based on this, we have 3 product concepts. And the first one is leak detection. And as I mentioned, hydrogen is an explosive gas, so it will be important to measure leakages. And here it's often in low concentrations. In the middle, we have the process monitoring. Here we place the sensor in an actual gas flow. We have one for high pressure and one for low pressure. And then we have the last one with remote readouts, and here's where we utilize the ability with fiber optics. If we look at the competition, from an overview perspective, this is how we see it. And we can compare our technology with the most common ones out there. We see that only one more is specific to hydrogen, and some others are dependent on oxygen to work. Another challenge is lifetime, or the ability or the need to be calibrated every 3 to 6 months. Or you have to compensate between sensitivity and fast response time. And I know this is simplified, but talking to customers, we see that there's a lot of details in this, and details do matter, which brings us to our key priorities going forward. As I mentioned before, we have the 2 customer pilots running where we develop the H2 sensor. And it's really important for us that we are able to prove the technology in these projects and further projects moving on. Applications in focus, if we start with process monitoring, we tend to be as close as production as possible, simply because we are certain there will be a lot of production of green hydrogen, but more uncertain which end applications will reach the market and how long time it will take before they reach the market. And also, we are well aware, we're a team of 16 people. We are in need of a strong partner to help us take this all the way to the market. So that's also one of our focuses. Here's the team, and we see Johan Rask, our CEO, who started earlier this year. And also Elin Langhammar, the CTO, she is one of the founders. It's a nice combination of technical capabilities and commercial focus. Here's the board, spearheaded by Jonas Ehinger, and they provide us with a deep network and an extensive set of experiences. So, some key facts about Insplorion and why to invest in this company. It all based on hydrogen, and it's a large and rapidly growing field with major investments now and in the coming years. Sensors will be needed throughout the value chain, where it's produced, stored, or used. We have a unique and flexible technology with the potential to fit at different applications throughout this value chain. Know-how has been built up since 2010, and we have an experienced team at place. And the interest for Insplorion is already proven in these 2 customer pilots I mentioned before. We have positive voice of customer feedback, and we have ongoing instrument sales. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Per. A question when it comes to the materials that goes into your sensors. I think I'm correct when I say there is some rare minerals in terms of silver and gold. How is the price of your products affected by, well, what's going on now currently in the global market when it comes to inflation and elevated prices? How does that hit you?
That's a very good question, very relevant, and obviously we have a lot of materials which are will be affected by this. But currently, when we're in this development stage, we see that we're not that. It's not a huge risk as of now, as we see it.
When you look at the overall company, when it was founded, the technology it's based on, hydrogen was not as big as it is now. So how has this shift taken place? What has that done to the company structure in terms of this big shift now to focus on hydrogen and the sensors applied to hydrogen?
Yeah. In the beginning, we started with research instruments, and rather quickly it was commercialized and started selling to universities and stuff like that. But then it has always been interesting to elaborate on which other fields could be interesting. And we have been talking about battery sensors and air quality sensors. Now we are taking all that work we have done, and we see that in hydrogen, we have the strongest capabilities when it comes to technical, and also the market is ready and it's rapidly growing. So it makes sense that we take everything we have gathered and put it in this hydrogen field.
Well, thank you very much, Per, and best
Thank
of
you.
luck. Thank you.
Thank you.